Hey everyone, and welcome to a bit of a bonus episode here. I'm calling this McLaren On instead of McLaren Versus, which is a bit of a play on the title there, I guess. But basically, what I wanted to do today was just have a little chat with you. It's not going to be a long episode like the interviews we do, but I want to have a chat with you about one of the things that comes up quite a lot in the interviews I've done so far, and that is talking to people about the mistakes they've made and what they see as the greatest mistake. So this bonus episode, is called McLaren On Mistakes, and I'm going to share my thoughts on that with you right now. As I mentioned, in the interviews I've done with all these amazing artists so far, I've really noticed a commonality between how they respond to the question of what is their greatest mistake. And first and foremost, the first thing they say to me after taking a minute and considering it is that almost all of them really don't see them as a mistake to start with. They look on them in a much more positive way because when you pick at that with them, you kind of hear them talk about the fact that it's something that shaped them and led them in a direction that ultimately gets them to where they are today. It's a part of who they are. So there's not a lot of regret that they carry with them. In most cases, there's none. And that also, I think, is an important point for us to consider here, is that regret feels kind of like a bit of a useless emotion, to be completely honest, and something that maybe, we should all consider just not holding on to. Baggage we don't necessarily need. But coming back to the people I've spoken to here and mistakes, it really got me thinking personally about that, because I do try to take on that sort of philosophy of seeing mistakes as a teaching moment or a way for us to learn. Because if you try to go through life and not make mistakes, then I think you're going to stay in a very, very safe space and a very predictable space. And that's not really where we grow or how we grow as human beings. I think it's more when we fall and when we, veer off the path that we learn new things about ourselves. We're challenged and we're forced into new spaces, and it may not be comfortable and it may not necessarily always elicit what you think it's going to, but the fact you've done it and you've pushed yourself in that direction, it teaches you something. And I think that there are great moments to be had when we make, inverted commas, mistakes. So it's if I could use this phrase, it's no mistake that is a commonality between all the people I've spoken to as well. And for me personally, it got me thinking about a Japanese art form, which is called kintsugi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is the art form where when pottery is broken and that kind of thing, and they rejoin it back together, but instead of trying to cover it up and glue it tightly and make it almost seamless and invisible and pretend it never happened, what they do is they celebrate that occurrence and fill it with gold. And I'm sure many of you might have seen this around, these pots and vases and things that may have smashed and broken and have these beautiful gold cracks that shine and are vibrant and honestly add so much more to the original piece. And that art form is based in, when I did a bit of research, is based in a philosophy or a Japanese kind of aesthetic or worldview called wabi-sabi, not wasabi. Don't get confused with that. It's not a spicy dish. Wabi-sabi, and it's rooted in Buddhism. And those two words, everyone says it's quite notoriously difficult to translate, but those two words, wabi is about the simplicity and the humility and the quiet beauty found in just the modest or rustic things around us. So that's wabi. And sabi is about the beauty that comes with age and wear and tear and the natural sort of cycle of growth and decay. And so when you put them together and have wabi-sabi, what it basically leaves you with is finding, and I'm going to read this bit so I get it right, it's finding grace in impermanence, incompleteness, and imperfection. And I think for many of us, being able to celebrate that can be difficult. And I think it's a great thing for us to ask ourselves to look at and review, because that idea of really seeing people and seeing the mistakes they've made and seeing how they have shaped a person is a really beautiful thing. And I think if we can do more of that, then that's just going to make us better humans, you know? So, yeah, I just want to leave you with that really for today and say, you know, take a minute, have a think about that, and don't be afraid of your mistakes, because, you know, all these amazing people we're talking to on McLaren Versus are not. And, you know, they have found a fantastic pathway to a really enjoyable and celebrated present that they're enjoying. So, you know, for all of us, that's something we can take away, is to embrace our mistakes and fill them with gold, polish them up, and share them with the world. Thanks, guys.